I'm actually really excited to do this one because this is something I've had, a bunch of times, and it's something I really like. As far as cheap beers go, this is one of the few that offer a lot of flavor. And that is Yuengling Black and Tan. Yuengling as a company is very cool. I'm not going to go into the history of Yuengling, but very old company and family-oriented, family-run. Just very, very cool. You can look them up if you want to hear their story and stuff like that, but I won't bore you through in this video. I want to talk more about the beers compared to the company. But Yuengling beers in general are flavorful. They're good premium beers and still cheap. And that's the thing. And all the different Yuenglings I've had, they've offered a lot of flavor, but a really good bargain too. They're not very expensive beer in general. So this is a Black and Tan. All right, and I'm proud to say this is what my dad drinks now. My dad was a hardcore Budweiser fan, just straight up Bud, for most of his life. And I just told the story in another, beer review. But loved Budweiser, and one day I said, that stuff is gross. And I'm like, would you try something different? And he's like, all right, fine, I'll try something different. And I got him some Yuengling Black and Tan. He tried it, and he never looked back. Absolutely loved it. And the kicker for him really was not only did it offer more flavor, but it was still cheaper than Budweiser. And Budweiser's not an expensive beer to begin with, but it's not the cheapest beer either. But this Yuengling Black and Tan ends up being a lot cheaper than even Budweiser. So the fact that it was cheaper and more flavorful, that's what he stuck with. So that's what he drinks now. He's a Black and Tan fan. So what is Black and Tan? Black and Tan is, it's a Black and Tan. That's the actual style of beer. And what it is, and there's a bunch of different companies that make Black and Tan style beers, but it's a mixture of a lager and a porter, okay? And it's supposed to have the best of both worlds. It's supposed to have more flavor than a lager, okay, but not quite as dark and, rich and heavy as a full porter. So this is their interpretation of it. The can says a dark brewed porter and premium beer, all right? So let's crack it open, pour it in our mug here, take a look at it, smell it, and then drink it. I'll tell you all about it. So here we go. Now right off the bat you can see the color is dark. Alright, so it has the appearance of a porter. You can see, I poured it a little bit fast and I got more head than normal, but it is a well carbonated beer. Alright, but it is pretty damn dark. Now, of course the lighting is a little bit low in here, but it looks like Coca-Cola with a beer head to it. And the head is a nice creamy light brown. It's like a, I don't know, like an almond color. It really is, it's a very appealing beer. But hopefully you guys can see, if I turn around a little bit, there is lots of carbonation in there. So anyway, on to the smell. A cheap beer that smells good. There's lots of aroma coming off of this. Smells almost as good as a lot of the imperial stouts and just the bold, dark beers that are out there. It has that richness in the aroma. Smells like toasted malts, a little bit of barley in there, a lot of the different grains and stuff like that too. You get a little bit of a lager smell, but it's kind of on the background. Those porter scents are pushing through. Now, ironically, and this is not the first time I've had this particular beer. I've had it quite a bit. The smell and the taste almost completely flip-flop. So on the smell, it's mostly porter with a little bit of lager smell in the background, right? But when you taste it, Gus. Oh, I feel bad. You were snoring, buddy. I'm sorry. The look he's giving me right now, he's like, if I had a middle finger. I'm sorry, buddy. Anyway, back to the taste. The taste is still, it's dark. It's still predominantly porter, but you get a much heavier lager flavor mixed in. And it is a really nice balance because this is something you can drink that's cold and refreshing. And I normally don't think something like a porter or a stout would be a refreshing beer to me. Lighter beers are refreshing because they don't have that heavy, flavor. The darker the beer, more often or not, I'll sip on them. It's a wonderful, tasting experience. It's a sipping beer. It's not something to chug when you want a refreshing beer. So a little bit mixed feelings on that, but this one, it's weird because it's right there in the middle. It's a good compromise. It offers a lot of flavor. The flavor on this is it's bold, but it's not quite as bold as a true porter. So it has porter-like qualities, but it doesn't have some of the super bold and delicious flavors that a good quality porter has. It still has a extremely light chocolate flavor, very, very light. You wouldn't drink this and think like, ooh, chocolate beer. No, not by any means. But when you're fishing for flavors, I don't mean making up flavors by that. What I mean is that when you're trying to experience it and you're conscious of the flavor as you're drinking, you're not just casually drinking it, whatever. I mean, as I'm doing right now for review purposes, I'm really tasting the beer. When you taste the beer, you definitely pick up on some chocolate notes. Not so much coffee. A lot of the really good porters I like is a good combination between chocolate and coffee, but this is just a dark chocolate kind of flavor in the background. But there's a little bit of sour in there. Very little bit of sour, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It works well in this beer. But I would say predominant flavors in this is probably, malts. Good sweet malts. This is a sweeter beer, by the way. Sweeter than most of the lagers and American lagers and all the other cheap beer you're going to find. To me, this has probably the sweetest taste, but it's not overly done. It's not like disgustingly sweet. You can drink a bunch of these and not feel like too full. If you drink a bunch of porters in a row or stouts, it tends to be very overly filling and a little too sweet, and it just kind of sits in your gut. This is very, very drinkable. That's pretty much it. I mean, I've said everything there really is to say about this one. It offers a lot of flavor, but not a high price tag. It's something that is really, really worth trying. I've converted one person. I'm very proud of that. If you're drinking Budweiser, or Coors, you owe it to yourself to at least try this once. You don't have to like it, and it's certainly not for everyone. Especially dark beers in general. Things like Guinness and more mass-produced darker beers. They have their following. A lot of people like it, but it's certainly not for everyone. It's like white chocolate. A lot of people like white chocolate. Some people despise white chocolate. It's very much a love or hate relationship. Either you're gonna love this beer or you'll probably hate it because you don't like that style of beer. But what's nice about this, and the reason I wanted to review this one specifically, is because you can find it everywhere. Okay, Yuengling Black and Tan is easily found. I've done a lot of really good beer reviews so far on this channel, and I've tried a lot of beers that I haven't even filmed. And they're wonderful, but someone like yourself watching this video, you say, that sounds great. Where can I get one? Oh, I can't get one. Sucks for me. So I'm trying to kind of gear this, at least for a while, towards available beers. Cheap beers. Beers that anyone can buy and anyone can afford. And it's going to be an interesting little journey through the world of affordable, available beer. But yeah, Yuengling Black and Tan, not so shabby. Let's see. Yeah, America's oldest brewery. It's right in the can there. Look them up. You guys will be very fascinated to find out about Yuengling. I'll tell you a quick little story. When my family came up to Pennsylvania, we moved here. Because we're from Jersey. I'm a Jersey boy. Born and raised. Spent most of my life in Jersey, and I've been in Pennsylvania now for about 12 years, going on 13. And when we came out to Pennsylvania, We went to a lot of barbecues. My grandfather, my father's father, he had a girlfriend, and her family was very large. I don't mean I don't mean physically large people. I just mean it was very large. There was a bunch of people in her family, very close knit. Sisters and uncles and just a bunch of people. And we used to go to the barbecues all the time. And this is all they had. Not this specifically, but they had Yuengling. Okay, regular Yuengling lager. They had a different type of Yuengling as well as the black and tan and all kinds of stuff like that. My dad at the time, being a beer drinker and being a bud guy, he's like, "Where's the bud?" And they never had any ever. And he was always like, "What the hell? I never have any bud." So he brought his beer all the time, but then he started drinking their beer, the Yuengling, and he fell in love with it. He thought it was delicious. It was really good. It was a really good quality beer for the same price tag or less than a lot of the other cheaper beers. So he grew pretty fond of it, but it was something he wouldn't buy. It was just something he would drink at these barbecues and stuff. But it's just funny to see now that that's all he drinks is Yuengling. It's a really good quality beer, all their stuff. And I probably had 5 different types of Yuengling. Couldn't name it, couldn't tell you offhand what they were. One was a red bottle, the label on the bottle. I don't remember. I'm not gonna make something up, so it is what. If you show me a shelf of different Yuenglings, I would tell you, okay, that one, that one, that one. But I don't have that in front of me right now to tell you. So anyway, that one goes out to my pops. That's what he's sipping on these days, is Yuengling Black and Tan. It's a really good quality beer, and it's a really interesting beer. Black and Tan style, I think, is it's a good, interesting beer to try because it is a balance, a flavor, but you don't get the heaviness. It's a little bit lighter. As far as the mouthfeel, it is a thicker mouthfeel. It's richer. The flavor hangs on a lot longer. In between sips. A lot of the cheaper lagers, American lagers, they're very watered down and they have a very light mouthfeel, very watery mouthfeel. And the second you swallow it, the flavor goes away. It kind of dissipates and it's gone. This lingers. Effing lingers, man. Yeah, it sticks around with you, which is a good thing. If you drink a beer, you want to taste it, right? So the longer you taste it, the more value you get out of your buck, right? But anyway, I don't know. I'm just babbling on now, so I'll just say that's the end of the review right there. Check it out. Seriously, if you're one of these people that once a week or whenever you happen to do it, you go to the local bar, you go to the local liquor store, wherever you're going, beer outlet, and you're picking up your usual, whether it's Coors or Miller or Bud or Heineken or whatever your thing is. Check this out. Try this once. Get a 6-pack of it if you can. Get a single bottle if you can. Unfortunately, a lot of places don't sell single bottles, but try it. Try it. Think outside the box. Try something new. Like I said, I converted someone who drank nothing but Budweiser for 25 plus years. All right? Had 1 can of this. Switched like that. He said, "Holy crap, that's good. Wow, it's cheaper. I'm sold." Done. So, it's worth checking out. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. Have a safe weekend. Drink responsibly. If you're going to be drinking, even if it's 1 or 2, don't be driving anywhere. All right, don't give me that crap. I'm good. I'm okay. Oh, I'll have something to eat. I'll have a cup of coffee. Yeah, sorry, but that's for your coffee. All right, if you're drinking, don't be driving. That was rude. I didn't mean to do that. But I'm very, very against people who take risks with the public. It's not even yourself. I mean, I don't want to preach to you guys, but I'm going to say this. People often think, okay, I'm fine to drive, whatever. What's the worst case scenario? I ruin my own car. No, you can ruin other people's lives, all right? And I'm dead serious about that right now. It's not good. It's not worth the risk. People just often forget you're affecting other people when you hop in that car intoxicated. All right, so from me to you, please don't do that, all right? Anyway, leaving on a positive note, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I'll see you soon.